What a weird game. Just the wind at BMO Field gusting down towards the south side created one of those wild games where basically one half it's one team all attack because the wind's at their back, and then that next half it's the other team all attack. So Toronto FC goes up 2-0 in the first half. Bernardeschi scores in Olympico because the wind is just that insane. Michael Bradley scores a header off of a corner, which, by the way, is his 19th for Toronto FC, which ties him for 7th overall in team scoring with Danny Koverman's all-time interesting piece of TFC history right there. But Toronto FC have their half with the wind at their back, go up 2-0 at the half, come in after halftime, and immediately let one in. And right off the bat, I knew that with the way the wind was gusting, when Charlotte was going to get their chance at the win at their back, TFC was going to have a little bit of trouble. And TFC did have trouble, let in 2 goals when Charlotte's pushing with the wind. 2 goals a little bit earlier than when Charlotte let in their goals with the wind. But Toronto FC did have a bit more offensive chances going against the wind than Charlotte did in the second half, although that might have just been score effects and the fact that the game was tied going in late and Toronto was at home. But we end up with a 2-2 draw, which means through 6 games this season, Toronto FC has drawn 4 times, won 1, lost 1. So it is a slow start to TFC season. They're just picking up points here or there, keeping them in contention. It kind of is like, if TFC can stay in contention until when hopefully Insigne comes back from injury, and hopefully in the summer when we add another depth piece or 2 and potentially another designated player, just keeping us in contention is fine. Although ideally we'd like to be hardcore pushing and getting more points to be significantly securely in a playoff spot and potentially even pushing for home field advantage in the playoffs. However, we are right now in 9th place, which is the last playoff spot. So we're in there so far to start the season. This draws almighty for TFC so far. So honestly, nothing bad as of yet, especially considering the fact that our home games, the weather hasn't been great. Keeping it in there. When the weather starts to get better at home and BMO Field starts to get more filled up and more loud, then TFC is really going to be a problem to deal with. But right now, with the way the scheduling works out, it's just keep in the peripheral vision of a playoff spot, and TFC so far is holding in that role. So all in all, we could have gotten the win, but given the circumstances, a draw is fine.